it's important to know that Microsoft owns Minecraft and they also own LinkedIn. And so this idea that there are learning behaviors, learning skills in the future, all of those are going to be badges and micro-credentials like on your blockchain dashboard, so that when you're a digital worker, the AI knows how to sort you based on your behavior tracking in game. And as I said before, it's also signals intelligence. That's a huge part of it. So the slide that we have up now is called, it's 3 books that I've read that I recommend to people. The first one is called For the Win by Cory Doctorow. And Cory Doctorow has ties, I think, to Institute for the Future. So I wouldn't say he's totally outside the system, but he has a very compelling storyline of this book. And I keep saying, if people who are very intent on promoting the play-to-earn gaming model read the book, I think they might have a different view of it. Because essentially what is happening in that story is that there are, multinational teams of young people who are playing quests in these games. But a lot of it is linked to abusive behaviors with children in China and in South Asia who are stuck in dingy internet cafes, spending hours of their day playing games to earn digital items that are then sold to wealthy people like in Silicon Valley. And it's very abusive. And so in that game, the real world and the digital world sort of collide, and it's about sort of organizing against multinational global capital, both inside the game and outside the game. And so the idea of global crypto economics, it was really, really very helpful to read that book. It's a young adult book. It's aimed for like high school age kids, but I think it will give people, it will open their eyes to the harms that are baked into this economic system and the idea of forcing people to live in the metaverse. In that gamification, you see how young those children are, right? I think it's crazy to imagine that people, like, do we really want to teach children to only be able to interact with other children in a gaming environment? Because right now there's a lot of, children are getting socially crippled. Some of that is due to sort of the reactions around people's, body and physical contact and like being friends and like slapping each other on the back and giving each other hugs and all of that stuff that has been stripped away over the past 18 months. And we have to understand that this is a global economic shift. It's an economic shift that's underway. It's not a public health event. It is an economic event. And it's not just about central bank digital currency. It's about the tokenization of everything in this digital world. And these young children are being pushed into that world. And it's up to adults, the adults in the room, to say, these children do not have informed consent about what that actually is. And it's very clear to me, the middle image there is Ready Player One. And, when we met up in Austin to do our field work there, Ernest Cline, who is the author of that book, and I would recommend the book over the movie, he's from Austin. He's writing that about Austin, this idea that we've killed the real world and that we've created these stacks of really depressing housing situations that no one can get out of. So they need to live in virtual reality and protect that virtual reality. I mean, I think in this case, it's supposed to be Cleveland, maybe Ohio, but it might as well be the favelas of Rio. I mean, that's the aesthetic that is being evoked there. So this is all unfolding in real time. And then I have Rainbow's End, which is what I talked about with the augmented reality world, where the real world falls apart in favor of the fake world. And so within that space, that whole pitch of the World Economic Forum was to sell your soul into the video game, which makes sense because it's the guy who sells video games. Like, of course, he's going to want to sell you your soul into the video game. He doesn't want you to know how to interact with people offline, because really the US military, the global, pulse network, the social physics, it doesn't count if it's not recorded as some data point. They can't capture it for their impact markets if it doesn't happen in a screen. They can't capture real behavior that is happening outside the reach of a camera. And so that's what we're dealing with right now, is deciding, again, the adults in the room, are you going to really throw these children into a world where you had the benefit of the real world, right? You had the benefit of going outside and playing in a creek and doing a pickup game of baseball or kickball or these things that were real. You didn't have to sit in a dark bedroom with a grilled cheese sandwich. I mean, that's every single bad thing of behavior that you're supposed to sit down if you can and have a family dinner together and talk about your day. No, you don't sit with the grilled cheese sandwich. No, you don't have 3 children with their backs to each other all on different devices. They want to normalize that, and it's not normal. It's not. And I mean, maybe there's already the world, like I think many of us realize there's been a split in the realities of around this global health thing, right? And maybe that's a split, but maybe this is another split. And maybe there are people who are fully willing to give up the real and just protect the oasis in the VR headset. And then if so, this presentation isn't for you because you've already made your choice. What I'm here for today is the people who don't understand the bigger picture, and there's still a chance to turn it back.